What's going on, and welcome to the Backpacking Podcast, as always with my cohort in crime, the redheaded, bearded wonder himself, Mr. Jeremiah Stringer. How are you doing tonight, my friend? Are you doing good?
It is time. You know what it's time for?
What is it time for, man?
It's time to mess up my hair with these headphones.
There you go. There you go. So check this out, man. We are in season 2 of the podcast. Started in July. We are now in episode 11 of season 2. We are on the cusp of 25,000 listens on our podcast. Did you realize that?
Well, no, I never would have guessed that. I would have thought 2,500.
Yeah, 24,740 listens so far on this podcast. How awesome is that?
That's
We've had some really cool guests. We've had some really awesome people on. As a matter of fact, recently we had on a guy named Rue McKinnon, who is doing the American Perimeter Trail. We just released that podcast today, so that's exciting. And but this is our live stream, man.
Oh, we got some good guests today.
Oh my gosh! But before we do that, you know what it's time for?
What's it time for?
It is time for the ticker. So we'll get the ticker going with some good fake news so that you guys out there who are watching can read along and see what's going on. But we do have some awesome guests on today, Jeremiah. Some awesome guests on. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Absolutely. So Austin and Nathan are out here doing it big.
Wait. I just remembered something else I got to talk about real quick.
Oh, okay.
I want to do this before they get on there. I don't want to take any of their actual time up when we talk to them. So I have to do this now.
All right.
You do realize that here real shortly, real football's getting to start up, right?
You're disgusting.
Like, I got real football starting up. Ohio State football's getting ready to start up. I got my shirt on right here. You know, if you can see that. You lucked out that the stand is actually covering it up because that's a lot of greatness to handle for one video. So, and the podcast people can't even see it, so I feel for them.
Yeah, well, the people who can't see, let me tell you, I have a Smart Water bottle here in front of me because I've been trying for years now to get sponsored by Smart Water, and they have yet to do so. So, Smart Water, if you're listening, I'm a sellout. Please contact me.
Exactly. We could use the sponsorship.
Exactly.
Also, because in honor of Ohio State football starting up in less than a month, we got a little red light here. So.
Okay, have you had
right back there, dude? Now we're good. We're all ready to go. Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready. So now let's introduce these two awesome guys, Austin and Nathan. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about them now that I've cut you off like 4 times?
That's okay. I still love you.
Thanks,
So,
buddy.
Austin and Nathan out doing it big. They are, I guessed, from South Dakota, which is pretty close, but they are up in the Mitten State.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close, if you ask me.
It's
are
like
they
a
not?
30-hour drive or something, man.
Bro, it's the same latitude. What do you want me to do?
It's not even what?
It's basically the same.
They're
is all
almost
I'm
in Canada,
saying.
bro.
I digress.
Okay.
Anyway, so they have a backpacking cottage gear business, and they make all kinds of different stuff. It goes all the way from like an ultralight minimalist wallet to a full-size backpack that you could take on a through hike. Let's bring them in, Austin and Nathan.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, everyone.
So these are the guys from Chicken Tramper Ultralight Gear. And I just want to say up front, I found out about these guys through a comment on one of my YouTube videos. And so I looked them up, and I'm not going to lie, I came away thinking, wow, look at this gear. This is amazing. You guys make some really cool stuff.
Thanks, man. We appreciate getting feedback from anybody like that, and seeing comments and different reviews that we get. It's just really awesome.
Yeah, man. So the first question has to be asked because everybody's probably wondering this in the comments who doesn't know you. What the heck is Chicken Tramper?
Yes,
you got to tell us. We got to know.
So we get this question a lot. My name's Austin, by the way.
Yeah, I'm Nathan. Yeah.
So the first thing I'll start with is that we're engineers by training. We went to school to be engineers, so we're not exactly creatives. So we already had products, designs, and stuff ready to go. And we were on this process. All right, we need a name. For months, we were trying to brainstorm names. And it took us a little bit to figure out.
Yeah. And then eventually one day we came across Tramper, which is like an Australian term for for hikers, and like the actual definition is someone who hikes over long distances and difficult terrain for fun. It's like, all right, well, that's got to go in there because that's like every through hike ever.
Yep. We also met in college, and in our fraternity there was this inside joke, and it was this this chicken right here, and it was just the sign of the chicken, international sign of the chicken. And we asked the guy who drew it initially back in the 60s, 70s, if we could use it as a logo, and he said yes. So it became Chicken Tramper.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Ultralight Gear.
Then we could file our LLC paperwork. And so we
Yeah.
had the name and everything.
That's
Wow.
awesome. I know when I first heard it, I thought people that step on chickens, and I was like, that's really kind of like
Yeah,
disgusting in a way, you know. But I'm glad to know that's not it.
Tramper, not Trampler.
That's awesome, man. I was wondering why you're saying that. He gave you permission, so he doesn't get like a 10% royalty on every single sale.
For every chicken, no. We just give him props when we do a podcast, so he's going to be happy now.
Yeah, he gets all the
I
brag
like it.
Yeah.
rights.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we actually are going to be doing something new tonight that we've not done before, and that is our first ever pop quiz. So let's get this started. So the way this is going to work is real simple. We're just going to ask you 5 questions, and Jeremiah's in on this. He has to answer these too, and I guess you're over here. So Jeremiah has to answer this too, okay? So he's got to come up with answers. You guys need to come up with answers, each of you. Like, you don't have to think as one brain during this. You guys can be individuals here. So, but we got 5 questions for you, all having to do with backpacks and personal preference. So this is just finding out what you guys like about backpacks. So the first question we're going to ask is mesh or netting on a front pocket.
Ooh.
So
So we'll start with Nathan.
Mesh is nice, like a lycra mesh, but I go with the diver mesh because I like to be able to fix things if something happens. So like if you get a big run in your lycra, you're kind of hosed. Whereas if you get like a diver mesh on there, it's easy to fix. It's a lot more durable, and it won't stretch out over time. Like if lycra sags out and you just have a bunch of loose fabric around, I don't think I want that. But yeah, so I go mesh.
Yeah, if I'm out hiking,
Sorry.
It's definitely the diver mesh. Same reasons, but if I'm wearing like a running pack, the lycra is the way to go. I can shove so many bars in, my clothes, my coat inside of that.
Nice. Jeremiah?
Welcome to Amateur Hour, where I have no idea what the questions are. He told me about this 20 minutes ago.
I refuse to tell him the questions, too. I told him he has to know it just as often, as early as you guys do. So
Yeah, so just being put on the spot, I'm going to take what you all said, but I like to do half and half. That way I can get the best of both worlds. On the left, wait, what were the choices again? What?
it was only 2, mesh and netting.
Yes, I like mesh on one side and netting on the other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I got no idea what I'm talking about. So you guys are the professionals.
Okay, we'll move on. Question number 2. Question number 2, and Austin, you're going to be the first one to answer this one. We'll give everybody a chance to answer first. But the next question is hip belt or no hip belt?
Oh boy, I am pro hip belt. Yeah, I tend to have very heavy food bags. Even if I'm only out for 4 days, I have a lot of food. So I always bring a backpack that's got a frame. Frame connects right to the hip belt, and I think that's the most comfortable way to carry like a heavier load. So I'm pro hip belt.
No hip belt. There you go. All right, Jeremiah. Hip belt, no hip belt.
Well, it probably doesn't come as a surprise that I am also pro hip belt. Unless I'm doing like a day hike, then I am no hip belt. And the reason is the same as yours. So I'll bring a minimum of 2 pounds of food per day. So definitely the hip belt.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah, you need to know people are already talking smack about you. You have been called. You were told that you had a fence sitter answer on your last one. So it's right here, just so you can see that Greg Morton just said fence sitter answer. So you're gonna have to get some guts, man, and really go after these, okay?
Bro, I'm
So-
a professional fence sitter. Professional.
Nathan, tell us what do you prefer, hip belt or no hip belt?
I'm team hip belt as well. I do carry some food, but I also just carry too much stuff, and my backpack weighs a lot. So, definitely transferring all that down to the hip is where I want to be at.
Very cool. So now that we know that everybody's a hip belt person, I can actually ask this next question. Hip belt pockets. Jeremiah, you're first. Do you like big hip belt pockets, little hip belt pockets, or no hip belt pockets?
I like huge hip belt pockets because I at least want to fit my cell phone in there and, like, I don't know, a couple pieces of chocolate at minimum.
Well, there you go. There you go. Nathan, how about you, man?
I am not about hip belt pockets. I'm pro fanny pack. So fanny pack in spite of the hip belt pockets. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. What about you, Austin?
Yeah, hip belt pockets are history in my head. I don't know if I'll have them on my backpack again, but we clip our fanny packs right into the front of our hip belt, and it's just right there ready to go.
Very cool.
I've never had a lack of storage for chocolate bars.
Hold
That's
on
important.
a second.
That's important.
Meters worth of chocolate bars.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like this is unfair because I have never had the experience of snapping in a fanny pack. So maybe my mind could be changed. I don't know.
Well, you know, Jeremiah, if you were going to get a fanny pack, you know you would get one made by Gonex.
No.
You, Jeremiah, you are the Gonex god, and Bryce Newbold added in, this podcast is brought to you by Gonex. So,
God, Nathan, Austin, if y'all don't know.
Nope.
No, Gonex.
We'll clue you in on what's going on here.
Yes, and I'm going to do this in 10 seconds so I don't give them too much airtime. Gonex is some cheap Chinese-made backpack that I accepted so my friends could have a pack to go backpacking with me.
All right.
And now...
And he wore it in a video.
All right.
Well, I was backpacking with the shields, but it's the bane of my existence now.
Yeah, it's haunting. Yeah. I love that.
And Hike the Change just said, and Bryce for the Gonex win. So, anyways, we'll get back to the questions. Okay, Nathan, you're back up. You're first. And I noticed maybe that I know the answer to this from hearing your other comments, but frame or frameless on your backpack?
Yeah, I'm pro frame as well. Just because, technically wherever we're going, we got to carry a lot of water and food, and if we're going out for a long time, and just having a frame to transfer all that weight down to your hips is just awesome. And getting all that weight up off your shoulders and all of that weight forward above your hips is the way to go. So I'm frame all the way.
Very nice. What about you, Austin?
Same thing. Same words.
It's a good thing you guys are in business together.
Efficiency, engineers.
Jeremiah?
Okay. I'm a fence sitter. So I'm going to say, what do you want me to say, man? I'm just being honest.
Preference, right? Got a preference, right?
My most used backpack up to this point, frameless Gonex, Jeremy. So the backpack I've used the most is my Osprey, and it's a 65 liter, and it is framed, and it carries weight really well. I call it the Cadillac. So if I'm just going like warm weather and 1 or 2 nights, I think frameless is fine, but I just had a new one made that was given to me, and I haven't had a chance to take it out yet. So it is frameless, and I'm on board with frameless. I just it hasn't hit home with me yet. I haven't got the opportunity.
Fair enough. That's okay. We can live with that. That's an answer at least.
I'm sitting right on that fence.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. You better watch it. Okay, so the last question, and I guess, Austin, you'll be the one that gets to answer this one first. 30 liter or 50 liter?
Oh, there's no in between in this question, is there?
No, we're gonna go. Do you try and keep your stuff down to a smaller size, or you try and just bring it all with you?
50 liter.
50 liter.
Yep. I get cold, so I got to have the puffy and the melly. Like, I need them both.
Very nice. Very nice. Nathan, what about you?
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards the 50 as well for the same reasons, and then just because I over prepare for everything, so I just got a lot of stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Jeremiah, I was gonna add 70 for you. What would you like? Would you like 30 or 50?
for the record, besides just the day trip, I'm not sure I've ever been able to fit anything in 50 liters before.
Really?
I think so. I mean, I can't remember a time besides like, just a day hike. For real, yeah. I like to bring a lot of stuff. I get cold too. Like
You're definitely ultralight.
Super ultralight.
Super ultralight.
And when it's cold, I typically bring 2 puffies. I'm serious. Yeah, I love it.
Nice. The blind hiker actually said 60 liters, son.
Yes.
So, there you go. Hey, and somebody wanted to ask a question. Okay, so Jeremiah and I, when we first met, we met at a coffee shop and we talked, and Jeremiah had this ridiculous idea for a video that we both thought was awesome. And so we did it. And our first backpacking trip together, we did a gear swap. So basically, he handed me his backpack, and I handed him mine, and I had to use whatever was in his backpack, and he had to use whatever was in mine. So the question has been asked by Sean Schultz, have they ever done a gear swap? So have you guys ever gear swapped before?
I've never heard of that. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Would you guys be willing to do something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We've never done one before, but that is a fun idea. That would be a good experiment. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a terrible.
Figure out what's actually really different from our setups, which is a handful of things. But yeah.
All I know is I'll have to start fishing. Otherwise, I'll kick myself for carrying the fishing pole.
Well, here's a question. Let's see. Well, just had a bunch pop up at one time. Let's see. Backcountry exposure. Devin wants to know, how many bricks of cheese are you bringing?
One each for sure.
Yeah.
Minimum. And I'm the extra sharp cheddar type.
Oh, there you go. That's the stuff I'd bring too. I would bring it. What about you, Jeremiah? Are you a cheese person?
I mean, I like string cheese. Does that count? Does that count? No. I
We
had
should just
cheese.
quit while we were ahead on that one. I'm telling
I had cheese.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
you. It's not even cheese, man.
Good one.
So tell us a little bit about you guys. Now we've kind of had some fun, broke the ice, all that kind of stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. What got you guys into hiking and backpacking in the first place? Because I know the company came out of trying to make backpacking more enjoyable for you. So what got you into it in the first place?
So growing up, I'd go camping with my dad quite a bit. We did a lot of car camping in cool places, and we'd always talk about getting into backpacking, going to the Smokies, stuff like that. So when I got to college, and I had friends who wanted to do stuff like that, I was at Michigan Tech up in Houghton, where there's plenty of places to go backpacking. More and more of my friends would cram inordinate amounts of gear into these backpacks and take them hiking. And they were very heavy. And I think some of them were just multiple backpacks on someone's back at one point.
Wow.
We were quite beginners. But from that first trip to the Porkies, doing a couple days in the Porcupine Mountains, I was pretty hooked, and it would just progress from there.
Very cool. What about you, Nathan?
Yeah, so I kind of, have been doing it since I was a kid as well. I grew up in kind of rural area outside town, so I grew up, in the woods and walking around the fields and stuff, and just through scouts and stuff, going camping and going on those outings, that kind of built up into going to Isle Royal when I was in high school at some point, and just all the adventures throughout college and stuff after that, and trying to figure out what system is the best and trying different things. And but yeah.
That's very cool.
I'm so jealous of them. Like, they have such good backpacking, even starting out. Don't have to drive for 7 hours to go to a semi-okay spot.
Yeah, no, Michigan's great. Can't lie.
Now, Jeremiah, you say that, but we live right near the Smoky Mountains and the Red River Gorge. So I mean, it's not like we're hurting or anything here, okay?
Are you guys
I mean,
climbers too?
Are we what?
Are you climbers? Do you go to the gorge to climb at all?
I'm fat. We don't climb anything.
No, I'm not strong enough.
I climb up to the buffet sometimes, but that's about it. but that's been cut back because of COVID. So, no, just kidding. No, like, so you guys are in Michigan. Actually, we had someone ask the question. Let me see here. Greg Morton said, "Where is Chicken Tramper located?" You want to let everybody know about that?
That's a good question.
In Hancock, Michigan, in the Keweenaw Peninsula of Michigan. So it's like,
Yeah,
I can't tell.
I think that's right.
This is right for you guys.
It's right for us.
Yeah, so we
We're
live
in
up
the
here.
top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I still get so jealous. Everybody I talk to Michigan's like, "Oh, no problem. Let me show you where that's from."
Yeah.
right over here.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try to do it, and we give them a lot of grief.
Yeah, it's not allowed.
I want so
Never see it.
John touched on this a little bit, but for those that don't know about the origins of your company, so you all met, you said, in college, same fraternity, but at some point you started making gear together. So the origin of this company, and I know something about some arrows or something.
Yeah. So throughout college, I knew I wanted to do something after I graduated. Nathan's the same, some hike. And I got turned on to the Pacific Crest Trail from a friend of mine who does crazy things. He goes and hikes and climbs a bunch, and I always try and, see what he's up to, get into those hobbies. And he was into the Pacific Crest Trail at the time, and man, that seemed like a lot of fun, just the lifestyle, having everything on your back. And so we decided to do part of the trail or all of the trail. I started looking for ultralight backpacks, and man, were they expensive. And I wanted to have an ultralight backpack because I'm hiking the PCT. And so we decided to make our own backpacks. I found some designs online, modified them, wanted to add a frame, talked to Nathan a lot about it as I was going through my process, and asked him what I should use as a frame. And he came up with the arrow thing, which was genius.
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out what different stuff that we could actually get to use for arrows that were going to be pretty light. So where you can get like aluminum tubing and stuff from the hardware store, or like I think we had some stainless laying around for something. But yeah, then we were like, well, what's the lightest thing? Carbon fiber. Well, how are we going to get that? Oh, they make these in cylinders. They're just arrows, so we'll just cut these up and put it in there.
Yep.
So what?
That's how we solved the frame problem. So I finished my backpack. It looks pretty good. It's sort of torn to shreds now. Along with it. And then Nathan made his backpack and improved on all the mistakes I made, which were bountiful.
Yeah, well, I think it's more apt to say that I sort of transferred mistakes. So I fixed things, and then things manifested in other things. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you guys, I think it was Austin on your website. It mentioned that you actually just like basically every time you stopped somewhere on the trail, you were quizzing people on what they liked about backpacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you're good. Go.
Yeah, Nathan and I were talking about starting the company after we found that the backpacks lasted for hundreds of miles, and we wanted to know what people wanted in their backpacks. So while I was still on trail, I got a notebook, which isn't ultralight, and carried it for a while, like the rest of the hike, I think, 1,000 miles I probably carried it, and interviewed anyone that would talk to me. I asked them a lot of specific questions, like you were earlier, hip belt or no, frame or no. What do you consider an ultralight backpack? Is it 2 pounds? What's the cutoff? Stuff like that. And then I kind of let them freeball. What do you love about your pack? What do you wish it had? And we got a lot of good data from that we worked off of when we wanted to create our first backpack to throw out in 2019 with our through hiker discount.
That's cool.
Wow. What are some of the things that on that feedback, like was it just you that was walking and talking and carrying the notebook and interviewing people?
Yep. Nathan had left trail at that point, so it was just me doing these interviews and talking to my trail family first, and then anyone, like I said, that would meet me. And you guys know hikers, we're gearheads. We love talking about our gear. What else?
You are not kidding. You are not kidding.
What's some of the biggest feedback things that you all are getting whenever you're like figuring out your designs and talking to each other and coming up with the frame and all of this?
We got a lot of priorities from people that we put towards what we want all of our backpacks to have. Durability was one of the biggest ones. No one wants to buy a backpack and have it end after a through hike with holes and falling apart. They want the frame to be intact. So our biggest thing is durability. We want our packs to last at least 2 through hikes, maybe more.
And what do you guys consider a through hike?
20,
2,000 miles plus, something like that.
2,000 to 3,000. The backpack we have in durability testing right now, it's gone the furthest, has done the CDT and the Appalachian Trail.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I think he's at 2 through hikes by now. Yeah.
He's getting there.
Are you guys good for some questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
bring them in.
We had lots of questions. They're popping up quick. I wasn't expecting to be this early in the show, but First question up here is, how do I get a Chicken Tramper T-shirt?
So my
I don't
sister,
even have one. I don't know.
Yeah, this was a Christmas gift from my wonderful older sister. She's got one of those machines that can screen print. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I would buy one. I think I love the logo. The logo is awesome.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so Aaron Gall wants to know, what one thing can you not hike without?
Oh boy.
You just said shoes.
Yeah.
Shoes. Well, you're not gonna go barefoot across the Pacific Crest Trail in the Sierras? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have like a little monocular scope kind of a thing, and I pretty much take that all over the place. It's just like a 12x magnifier. It's just like a fun thing to take out when you get to the top of a big hill or a mountain or get to a lake or something and look at whatever's out there. It's just found it to be very handy, so I keep that pretty much all the time.
It's fantastic. If I'm ever in nature and want to see something from further away, I ask him and he has it.
Nice.
On my trips, so that I always have a scope. But we saw a bald eagle on Grand Island, pretty close up with that scope.
Oh, that's cool.
You can zoom in on. That was cool.
That is cool. This one actually is just a quick question that somebody's picking on Jeremiah for. He says, where are you living in Kentucky that you have to drive 7 hours for an amazing hike? My comment exactly, right?
I was talking round trip. That was round trip.
Right. That's exactly what you meant. Okay, so Devin from Backcountry Exposure, what was your flagship product and what products do you sell?
So, I mean, I'd say that our flagship are probably our 35 and 45 liter bags. And then maybe our fanny packs is kind of like what we got started on. That was our bread and butter for a long time, making cool fanny packs. But as far as other stuff that we make wallets.
We could go QVC style if you want.
We could like pass them around.
We make wallets.
Oh, look at this. Smart move. Look at these guys.
All right, so I'll show you this one thing in the phone pouch. So you can flip the storm flap in, and there's like a secondary flap in here that'll keep your phone in so you can have an aux cord coming out. And that was one of the design things of the year. A lot of our products come from our friends saying, hey, I want this, and us saying, okay, cool, we'll work on it. Those friends get the real crappy versions, and then we make really good ones after a couple of rounds for everybody else.
You guys ever wanted to sponsor a podcast with free gear?
And I'd say our other top sellers are camera bags. So the big thing with these is we custom make it to the dimensions of your camera and lens setup. You'll give us some dimensions, some specs, and we'll take it and make a bag that fits it perfectly and attaches to either your hip belt, your chest by multiple clips, or your shoulder strap. And it's kind of like the alternatives on the market, except that it'll protect from dust and light rain.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. You guys are ready, man. I don't know if anybody's ever been that ready before.
We're very excited to be here.
Well, we're glad you guys are on here, man. Okay, so I got more questions, Jeremiah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Ask away.
I can't even ask them questions right now because other people have them before us. So
yeah, what do they got?
Hunter's Trip wants to know, what design has been the most difficult to create?
Wow, these questions are better than my questions.
I can't come up with these good questions.
It's definitely the camera bag. The first 10 of those that I made, one was for a friend, and just finding the right way to convert their camera dimensions into a bag with the right seam allowances that's going to fit it right, getting the openings right, the attachments right. We have 3D spacer mesh on the inside now. The initial design didn't have that, so now there's a little padding. I think from start to finish developing a product, that one's pretty up there for how long it took to get to a good place.
Yeah, and even just going from like the dimensions they give us to the geometry of what some of those panels look like are all these really weird angles just based on the taper of everyone's bag and stuff like that. So it took a while to figure all that out.
Nice. 2 more questions, then we'll do some talking about some other things. But would you guys do a custom backpack?
We do a lot of customizations to backpacks. If you want us to do a custom pack, email us, and we'll let you know if what you're asking for is too crazy.
There you go. That's a great answer. Then we've got, let's see, there's one more I saw. Okay, this one's interesting. Can you attach the camera bag and the fanny pack on the pack at the same time?
Yep. Should be able to, yeah. So you can, like you said, you can put the camera bag on 3 different locations. So obviously, if you have it on the chest or shoulder strap, you're good. But then the way that it wraps around the hip belt, it'll just wrap it right around the attachment for the fanny pack as well, and we'll sit on there fine. Yeah.
Very cool. And then this was just a statement. Jeremiah wants a backpack with John's face on it. Okay, so Jeremiah, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay.
Do your thing, man.
I see how prepared they are. And you said that you went to school in Michigan and you were studying engineering.
Mhm.
And both of you're holding writing utensils. If people are just listening, they don't see. And like we were just talking in the green room before we went live, and I saw y'all reaching up, and I was just curious, like, what are y'all taking notes on?
I took a few notes.
He's psychoanalyzing you, Jeremiah. That's what it is.
No, I wrote down underground quilts because another gear company in Michigan, we'd love to get to know them. So if anyone from there is listening, we might call you sometime. We'd just like to know other people in Michigan. Pretty impressed you're on episode 11 of season 2. And I believe if you use rounding, that 24,704 is 25,000, but you're close to listenership.
There we go.
I love it. They're so prepared.
That's so incredible. You guys started this for fun in January and you're at 25,000 listens.
Mhm.
That's insane. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been kind of shocking, actually.
Yeah,
So-
well, it's people like you. We get to like talk to interesting people, and we get to hang out. So it's always a good time.
That's the truth. And Jeremiah, if you're looking at the thing on the bottom of the screen right now, basically Jeremiah is officially the most improperly translated YouTuber according to the YouTube closed caption. His phrase, "What's going on, hawkers?" is easily the most mistranslated words in all of YouTube. So,
Well, I will say one of the most listened to episodes of recent is John being linguistically racist. And that's where that's coming from.
I'm not linguistically racist. I just like making fun of you.
So I'm curious, when y'all started this company, and Austin, you're out asking people. Nathan, you've left the trail, but you all still decide to start this gear company. Whose idea is it originally, and then how does it come together from there?
So we had like always talked like in college, between the two of us and some of our other friends about like, yeah, we should just start our own company. Why work for somebody else? Like, why would we do that? And trying to, just going in there, and we never really knew what we were going to do or whatever. And then we kind of went on this big adventure, and we made our own bags. We're like, well, this isn't too hard. Like, we can do this. This is all right. And we started getting pretty good at it. And yeah, it just kind of spiraled from there. And I was working in Wisconsin at the time, so I was kind of doing some background feasibility sort of studies on how this might work out, and Austin was getting a bunch of data. And then, yeah, he moved in with me after he got off a trail, and we just started cranking on it. So,
Yeah, and I think it was in the middle of Oregon. I texted him and said, Nathan, I'm pretty sick of my hip belt pockets. Do you think you could make a fanny pack like the one you made for yourself before trail? And send it to me in a care package. And Nathan said, absolutely. So I think he made some modifications to the design, sent me another one, and like a good man he is, included some Oreos and sunflower seed butter, because I'm allergic to nuts and it's hard to come by in some of those small towns.
Wow.
Very thankful for that care package.
That's a good friend, man. That's a really good friend.
Please. Yeah.
We got a question for you because you were talking earlier about how backpackers are gear nerds. Make your own gear guys are even bigger nerds when it comes to things like sewing machines. And our friend Miyagi on the trail wants to know, what kind of machines are you using?
Yeah.
Oh, here comes. Here comes.
We're in the shop. Yeah.
This is our Juki DDL 8500. It's the first industrial machine that we got. It has a half-horse motor.
Yes.
Half-horse motor, clutch
Big scary
driven.
motor.
Yeah, it is very scary. You put your foot down and it just shoots. It took us a while to get used to.
It takes a while.
You get a lot of foot control. So that we've had for years.
Yeah, a year and a half, maybe.
A while. And
It's
then
getting to be there.
we very recently got a new machine.
This is our Juki walking foot LU 562. So this actually has a servo motor on it, so it's a little bit different. But this is the walking foot model. So the top part of the foot actually walks with the feed dogs and helps cycle in the material instead of just the feed dogs pulling in on the bottom. So you got a lot less layer shift and stuff moving around. So yeah, those are our two main machines. Yeah. Our workhorses, if you will.
Wow.
That's
That's
awesome.
impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive. We actually had another friend of ours who is also a gear nerd. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Hunter.
Juki!
Got all excited. And then All Things Outdoors says that beats my 1980 Kenmore. So,
I love how passionate that they are about making all the gear. You can just feel like it's contagious.
yeah.
And since we're talking about making gear, and I want to talk to you about a problem that I'll run into, and I don't know if we can solve it tonight, but I do have like a follow-up question about it. So I lost quite a bit of weight a while back, and ever since, my hip belt sometimes will pinch. Like there's some fat, there's still some skin. Yeah, so Hike to Change, he commented on here, can you change the hip belts as you lose weight? So I lost this weight, and there's like fat, extra skin, and you're walking, and that's being pinched. And when I first started backpacking, like the first time I ever went, it was like ready to bleed. You know, I was like patching it up and putting ointment on it. And then as I kept going, I was adjusting the height of where I put my hip belt, how much it's squeezing me. You know, I was just learning the ropes of backpacking. So do you all have any ideas for solutions when it comes to that? And then the follow-up is, what do you all think is some of the most comfortable aspects for your backpack while you're making it? Like, what are you thinking about as you're making it? So for the user, it's going to be the most comfortable.
Yeah, as far as the first thing, there's not a whole lot off the top of my head. It's it's hard to make hip belts smaller even and do that kind of thing. And yeah, I don't think I've thought about that at all.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where your pinching's coming from. I'd be curious if that happens on other types of hip belt. I have an Osprey Ether 65, and those hip belts, while they do have padding, have some sort of shape that's different than our shape, and different padding that's different from our padding and other companies' paddings. A lot of the UL use the closed cell foam, and that's what we use. So that might be more comfortable for you to have a different style hip belt on your pack.
Mm-hmm.
But as for losing weight and worrying about maybe your hip belt becoming too big, that's a thing that we could remedy before you buy a pack, but not after. Replacing or changing the size of a hip belt is pretty hard because it's a pretty early thing to put on. Hard to describe. We can't really do that very easily. But if you email us beforehand to tell us, hey, I normally lose weight when I hike, I'm a little over right now, or hey, like me, I'm a super skinny guy, hip belts are always too big. We take your custom measurement and we can skew it in a way that you'll have more space to close in or lose that weight in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for comfort, we just take your custom measurements like back length and your waist length. Well, we don't take them. You take them. You send them to us.
Yeah.
And we make the pack exactly to that. We don't have a small, medium, large, or a range. We make the backpack for a 22-inch back if you have a 22-inch back. We're really tall.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the biggest keys to getting a comfortable one is making sure that you have one that fits you right. And that goes for any brand out there. Is making sure that it's sitting on your hips well and that it's up off your shoulders and it's centering all that weight well. And that's once you get there, then it's all kind of tweaking things as you go. But if you start in a bad spot, it's like a foundation. If your foundation is bad, the rest of the house is not going to be great. So.
Yeah, I hear that. You actually got some props from Miyagi on the trail. Okay, they're pros, I accept. So you guys now have props from Miyagi, so that's good. All Things Outdoors says he would like to have a Prohibition pack, a backpack with a secret bourbon pocket. So there's that. Here's another one. Hiking with Epilepsy said, yeah, it was. I was just wondering about that because of so many of us lose weight on trail, and them trail rashes hurt like a sieve.
Yeah, so for the backpack I made myself for trail, I made that mistake, and my hip belt ended up being too big for me being too skinny, and I ended up safety pinning some Thermarest that I found in a hiker box to the inside of my hip belt. So that's a temporary solution if you're on trail right now. But
Wow,
Nice.
that's very creative. I never would have
Nice.
thought of that.
Necessity.
So if somebody goes, y'all have a website. We haven't mentioned it yet, but y'all have a website, and if somebody wants to go on there and order something, do y'all have like a short video or a diagram or something so that people know whenever they're measuring how to do it and how to do it properly? Like, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, so we do have a backpack sizing page. And right now it's just like a picture of me with some lines drawn and like arrows to show you what's going on. But then it has a pretty good description about finding your C7 vertebrae and like where your iliac crest is on your hips. And we kind of talk about, how to find it and then how to stand when you measure it, because you don't want to measure it when you're slouched over. You want to measure it when you're standing up like you're hiking. So we go through that pretty thoroughly, but it is on our list to start making some videos for that, and including some walkthroughs and some other stuff as well.
So there's the picture off the website right there for people wanting to see what that looks like. Just kind of explaining what they said. So
Yeah, that's one thing I would worry about. I know, like, people go to REI or whatever, and then they take the piece of plastic and stick it against you. And I'm like, if I had never been backpacking before, I'm trying to order a bag or whatever, I'd be like, I have no idea, and then I would end up with the wrong size.
Yeah, and that's, going back to the whole comfort thing, that's like one of the most critical things. We want to make sure that size is right so that it fits everyone well and that it's most comfortable for them. Yeah.
And the best way to measure is with a flexible tape measure. If you use one that rolls up, you'll get the wrong measurement by a little bit. So something flexible, or you could use a string and then measure it up against the straight rolled.
Got a comment here. What type of foam do you feel is a good middle ground of conform to lightweight?
Assume he's talking about like in the bed and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they meant comfort. I think that just was a misspelling. So it's probably comfort to lightweight. So
CCF closed cell foam.
Yeah, we use like a mid-weight closed cell foam.
FY20.
Yeah.
If that means something to anyone.
Yeah,
but
can't find anywhere what that means. But yeah, so we use closed cell foam just because that's a lot more durable than an open cell. A lot of people, I've seen people use open cell foams that have a little bit more breathability. But the problem with that is that there's so much less mass in there and less structure that foam crushes down pretty quickly. So with the closed cell foam, each individual pocket of air is its own vessel, essentially. So it has enough structure around there to kind of go out with the wear and tear of being compressed multiple times. So we go with that foam. It's 3/8 of an inch on the hip belts and most of the straps. Some of our stuff is about 1/4 inch, but yeah.
Yeah. So when we have to make decisions, we always kind of tend to drift towards durability and away from ultralight when it comes to important things like that. We don't want failures on trail. The same with the front main buckle, stuff like that. That was one of the main ones from the hiker survey. People don't want buckles to break that should break. So we don't skimp for weight on places that are crucial, like your comfort on your straps or everyday use buckles.
That's really smart. That's really smart. So are you guys going to make tents or hammocks in the future? And a follow-up question somebody else said right after that, will you guys ever go for a shelter design in the future? So I guess that's a big topic.
So shelter design. I've had an item on my to-do list for maybe 2 years now. And that's to make a bivvy. I really want to make a 3-season bivvy. And after that, I want to make a tarp. And I got as far as making myself a prototype bivvy, and it works well. It's very light. And I had other things to do. So in the future, we hope to come out with a bivvy, eventually a tarp, and hammocks.
Yeah, I guess we talk about that. Yeah, we have one other friend that we have met since moving back up here. He's kind of starting to get into the making the hammock business, so we might kind of contract in with him and do some cahooting with him and try to get some hammocks from him on our website.
Yeah, he has his own brand. I won't mention anything yet. I don't think he sells stuff quite yet, but he makes some pretty good hammocks that we've seen, and we're talking about getting them on.
Well, that's interesting to me because I'm a hammock guy. So I will definitely keep my eyes and ears open for that one because I'm definitely interested.
Cool.
I know Jeremiah and I were supposed to be at Pictured Rocks this last year, and we didn't get to go. And I know we're planning on eventually going back. Like that's eventually a plan. And so somebody posted up here, production videos like Jeremiah did with UGQ would be cool. Maybe if we ever get a chance to go up that area, maybe you guys could go hiking with us. We could swing by the old place and maybe do a little tour, and you could explain to us how things are made and all that kind of stuff.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
rock,
Fun.
drive over to the shop, and
Yeah, show you around the UP, I guess.
yeah, we'll be with you guys.
You, Austin, you mentioned prototypes a second ago, and this is something that I had been wondering about, and I want to talk to you all about. So you have some design in your head, and you all obviously, you like to write stuff down. I assume you draw it out and that kind of stuff, get some specs going. But what is the process from taking it to your from your brain, right, and then turning it into something that is battle tested and approved, ready to sell? Like, what steps do you all go through to get there?
Cool. Yeah, we'll start with a few. So the first one is messing up a lot.
Yeah.
Lots of subsystem tests.
Yeah. So like you said, we'll do subsystem tests just to see how things work. When you have a 3D object that you want to make, you have to transfer it into 2 dimensions in order to cut it all out and then bring it back up into 3D when you sew it all together. And so a lot of the angles do weird things that are hard to visualize. So we'll just start making, different mock-ups, and normally out of muslin, cotton fabric, or some scrap X-Pack if, it's a later level mock-up or prototype. And then, I don't know, from like Aaron's phone designs to like the final phone design.
Yeah, it's mostly just iterative. It's kind of like going through and, make this, and then like we talked about earlier, a lot of our earlier stuff go to our friends. So it's make one version of it and we send it to one of our friends that's out on trail or doing something, and ask them, all right, what's wrong with it? What should we change? And then we go through a couple iterations of that. And by the end of it, then we have a couple different products, which is how a lot of it started.
And so that goes for accessory items mostly. For a backpack, we have a slightly different process, but much the same. In 2019, when we first started and had a backpack we wanted to sell and test, we felt pretty unethical trying to just sell it like, hey, here's this $85 backpack. Trust us, it works.
Yeah.
Because we don't know if it works yet. So we gave people a substantial discount on a backpack in exchange for them to be a part of our testing team and answer surveys throughout the trail. So we made a call, hey, who's through hiking in 2019? People emailed us. We gave them the discount code, sent them backpacks, and then they gave us a bunch of feedback where holes formed. Not too many, but we were able to fix the areas that they did, how the frame works, how the shoulder strap, hock for shoulder straps, everything. And so they would just send us stuff and we would make changes.
That's awesome. You're talking about this, like what Jeremiah was talking about. Somebody actually asked earlier, and I missed the question, but I want to make sure I get it up here. I'd love to hear about their prototype Fastback, because they've been on your way. I'm just now looking at it on here, the CTU G15 Fastback.
Yep. So the Ctec 15 Fastback, I made it so that I could run 2 miles to the place where I work. I do like a shift a week as a bartender. So I could run there and have all my stuff on me and run back. And then the eventual goal was to make it into something I could run, carry the bivvy and the essentials, and maybe do a weekend trip where I run, 20 miles to a spot, sleep, keep going. Anyway, it's got shoulder straps with 2 Lycra pockets up top. You can fit bars in here, or your keys, whatever. And then 2 soft flask pockets right here. So if you have the Solomon 500 milliliter soft flasks, that's what I put there, or my cell phone if I don't need to carry water. All of the side Lycra pockets and the back one are accessible while you're moving. So you can just stash stuff, grab stuff. There's, static compression to keep all your stuff tight to your back. There's quite a few features on it. It's a little overblown and a little underpriced. And it's on the prototype page, which means that there might be slight modifications to the picture you see or improvements as well. And then, I don't use a normal sternum strap for the Fastpack style. I use shot cord with 2 connections to 1 connection on either side, and you just slip it under a pack hook. And there's no hip belt needed when it's, sitting tight like that.
That's really cool. That's a really cool. I mean, that's very unique. I'm actually looking at it while you're talking about it. It is a very cool looking pack too. I mean, just the design. It's not one of those things where you're wearing it and people are gonna look at you like, what the crap is that dude wearing on his back? It's like, it's actually a really good looking backpack, man. Really good looking backpack.
The angles in the design, I had inspiration from 2 different places, and they're both nerdy. One of them was the Tesla driver truck. It doesn't look great as a truck, but like the angle, I liked it. I wanted that as a backpack. And then Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars Clone Wars carried a backpack with angles, and I was like, oh, that's a cool backpack.
You brought up Star Wars, and you just ranked really high on my list now. Like I already started to like you guys, but now it's like it's over. We're just like best friends now. So,
Mando season 2.
yeah, I cannot wait, man. We're just a few weeks away from that. Yeah. So, can't wait. And live action Ahsoka Tano. Can I be a gear tester? I'm hard on gear, so you'll get a good estimate of what it'll take. Gone Feral Squidly wants to know that. Okay. So
email us. We can see what's going on.
Yeah, we might have a new frame design that we want people to put a couple thousand miles on next summer. So if you're doing a couple thousand miles next summer, email us.
You guys are going to get a lot of emails.
Yeah, you are. I hope so.
Not free backpacks.
Discounted backpacks. Discounted backpacks. There you go. Here's something
I want to know about, because people sometimes will forget, if you make gear, there's a reason for that. You love getting out, and you fell in love with the passion of whatever, niche you're in this case, backpacking. So I want to hear a couple stories, and something that's commonly asked on the trail. They ask you what's your name, and a lot of times they don't even know your real name. So you all both have trail names. Okay, we have Ketchup and Robin Hood.
And not ketchup as in like the red tomatoey condiment. Like ketchup as in I'm behind you. I've got to catch up. So
yeah. So
I just got to make up for Jeremiah's accent sometimes. Make sure it doesn't get confused. So
it was explicit. I said catch. I even thought about it, and I was like, I'm going to make sure I don't say ketchup. So Nathan, I want to hear from you first. How did you get your trail name?
So backing up a little bit to before I got my name. So like we talked about, we had arrows for our frames of our first bags, and which was great, and everything was cool until I got my bag back from the airport, and I saw that all my frames had been broken in my bag. So I was like, well, that's a bummer. But on the plus side, it's just arrow shafts, so I can go to the hardware store and pick up some more arrow shafts and then cut them with my Swiss Army knife and then put them back. But the problem was that I only needed 2 arrows, but they came in packs of 3. So then I ended up with this extra arrow that I had to hike with. But I for a while with this arrow in my bag, and I had like a big hat with some feathers in it. And one time we climb out of the woods down to like a fire station, and there's a bunch of people having my pizza party, like hikers. They had like found a spot to order pizza and got all this stuff. Like, all right, this is awesome. And I'm walking up, and I just hear some British people. Like, oh, he's got an arrow in his backpack. Oh, he's Robin Hood. Okay, Robin Hood. And a bunch of British people calling me the name of their folk hero. How am I going to say no to that? So I just went with it. So yeah,
their folk hero. I love this.
Wow, that was great. I don't know how you're going to follow that.
I'm going to be a huge letdown. Yeah. I tend to hike pretty fast, but I also tend to sleep in and take a lot of breaks, because when you're hiking on the PCT, there's so many good places to just sit on a rock and look at that view. So I would do a lot of sitting on rocks and looking at views, have a snack, just breathe it in. My friends would pass me sometimes. I'd be, all right, see you later. And I would always catch up.
I love
That's awesome. And Jeremiah loves that, because Jeremiah, if you ever go on a trip with Jeremiah, you might actually get up before he does.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Part of the 10 by 10 team.
Yeah, I'm the brunch club, bro. That's what time we roll out.
You guys are getting some more props on the with the watchers. We got your testing ethics are pretty remarkable, better than most big name brands. So props to you guys for that.
We like to be very open about what you're going to buy. It gives us a lot of joy to be able to make gear for people that are going to take it outside and enjoy it. So we want them to be happy with our gear so they can be happy outside and not complaining about their backpack when they're taking in the views. So we take that pretty seriously, and we appreciate that.
That's awesome. And then we've got, of course, Go Next for life, and I want a Go Next pack. So those have to get in there. So if you want to get your comment posted on the live stream, say something about Go Next at some point. So it's almost an hour, and we want to be respectful of time and everything, but this is usually the time when we just let you guys share, where can we find you? What's your website? Tell us about all your social media. Just advertise yourselves for a couple minutes here.
Cool. So on Instagram, we are Chicken Tramper Gear, and I think there are underscores between each of the words, and then chickentrampergear.com.
Yep. Or contact us at chickentramper@gmail.com.
Or just Google Chicken Tramper. We're the only ones. Emails at the bottom of the page, same with both of our cell phone numbers.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that if you look up Chicken Tramper, you are the only ones that show up, because that's how I found you guys. And just for Jeremiah to feel proud of himself, he did. We have one person that did witness Jeremiah getting up before backpacking with Jason, sir. So that did happen. But guys, thanks so much for being on our show. Seriously, like,
Man,
so thankful you guys came on.
Yeah, it was great meeting you guys. And seriously, when you go hike Pictured Rocks, call us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Will you guys let us know whenever you start making T-shirts available so we can buy one and show everybody and get you some more sold?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that'll be the first time we sponsor the podcast. We'll give you some T-shirts and a little bit of gear. You guys can rock them.
And someone is putting on here, they're about to buy the water bottle sleeve right now. So
Thank you.
there you go, man. There you go. Hey guys, we'll make sure in a year, let's get you back on here, and let's see what's happened in the last year.
Cool.
And let's see how it's growing and everything, because you guys have got like you're just doing great work, and your ethics are fantastic. So real excited to see what you guys do in the future.
Yeah, we're excited too, and yeah, it'd be great to catch back up with you guys. And definitely, if you're up in the UP, come drop by and hang out, show you the stuff.
We will do that, man. Jeremiah, you got anything else?
Well, that was it for me. I just really want the T-shirt.
All right, well, let me ask you a question. Do you want just the chicken? Do you want the name? Do you want the chicken in the middle? Like, what do you want?
Get creative.
I'll take one of each.
All right.
Okay.
I'll bring the bacon.
Yeah,
there you
John,
go.
bring the bacon. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I had a lovely time talking to you guys, and I can't wait to hang out with you in person. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we'll make that. We'll figure out a way to make that happen sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The 1 year from now, it'll be in person. It can be in the shop.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. We may have to make that happen.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys, and we will have you on here again, guaranteed.
Good. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Jeremiah, that was way more fun than we ever thought it was going to be. Those guys are great, man.
I love those guys. I've
Oh,
never
dude.
met somebody from Michigan I didn't like. Not
Oh,
one
I
time.
have, but they're not those people. So like, they're people I like. So that's a good thing. So, man, it's been another great episode with you, man.
I hope people are liking this. I'm loving it. It's been
My
awesome.
Monday nights are more fun than they've ever been.
Something to look forward to on Mondays. I don't know if we're gonna do it every Monday, but I've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I don't like the Baltimore Ravens, so I really don't want to watch football tonight anyway. So, so this worked out for me. So, Jeremiah, I guess it's time to sign off. So for myself and the great Jerome Stringer, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next go-round.
Adios.